I need you to pause for a second. Not literally, I know you're probably doing 100 things at once, but mentally just hit the brakes. I want to talk about a lie we've all been sold. It's not a small lie, and it's not political. It's a lie that's so deeply woven into the fabric of our culture that even the kindest, most well-meaning people repeat it without a second thought. My name is Findolax, and today we're not just talking about numbers on a spreadsheet. We're talking about psychology, survival, and a truth that might just make you reevaluate everything you thought you knew about money. If you're here to challenge the status quo and build real financial intelligence, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Okay, let's start. I want to talk about a lie that we've all been sold, and it's not a small one. It's this idea that's so deep in our culture, even the nicest people you know repeat it without thinking twice, and it has everything to do with money and poverty. Before we go any further, we just have to reset our brains with this one single statement. Because, when we think of someone struggling financially, our culture kind of whispers in our ear that it's because they're lazy or they just make bad choices. Well, that's the lie. And today, we're going to replace it with a truth that might just change how you see, well, pretty much everything. So first up, let's just capital this myth head on. This whole idea that poverty is some kind of personal failing. What if I told you the exact opposite is often true? Because here's the really surprising, almost unbelievable truth. People living in a state of scarcity, they're often forced to make better financial decisions than those of us who have plenty. Yeah, look at this contrast. The myth, it suggests this failure of character, right? But the reality, what's actually happening is that when you have zero room for error, every single dollar has to be accounted for with a level of precision most of us never ever have to practice. It's not laziness, it's like performing financial surgery in the dark with a butter knife. So why does this happen? Well, it's not just about discipline, it's actually about neuroscience. There's a really profound cognitive reason why scarcity literally changes the way we think, and it has a name, the bandwidth tax. In their amazing book Scarcity, researchers Melanathan and Schaffer really pin this down. The bandwidth tax is this idea that poverty doesn't just empty your bank account, it puts a massive crushing tax on your brain power. It's like this cognitive load that's always running in the background. Think about it. When you're constantly worried about making rent, when every single purchase is this complex calculation of what you have to give up, your brain is just operating on a different frequency. It's in survival mode. It's not that it works worse, it's just that it's completely preoccupied, draining your mental energy the same way running a marathon drains your physical energy. And researchers saw this in a fascinating study with farmers in India. They tested the same farmers before and after their harvest, same people, same brains, but before the harvest, when money was tight and the pressure was on, their cognitive scores were way lower. After the harvest, when the money came in and that pressure was gone, their scores shot right back up, and the drop was staggering. We're talking the equivalent of about 10 IQ points. Now, this is so important to understand. Your IQ doesn't drop because you're poor. It drops because you are busy, so incredibly busy, doing that mental math, juggling threats, and just trying to survive. It's not about being smarter. It's about not having to carry that same weight. Okay? So let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. Let's move from the science to the kind of surgical precision that daily survival demands. This is where you can see this unseen genius really start to shine. So let me introduce you to Katie. She's a composite of millions of real people. She looks at her bank account and she sees $622. But the month isn't over. Her car, which she absolutely needs to get to work, needs a $540 repair. Her son needs $300 for school supplies, and utilities are another $100. The math, it just doesn't work. She's $318 short before she even thinks about food. So what does Katie do? Does she panic? No. Before I tell you if you're already feeling this, hit that like button, because this is the reality millions of people are navigating right now, and this video needs to reach them. Katie didn't panic. She triages. She makes this series of brilliant high-stakes decisions. She gambles. She can put off the car repair for a week. She buys just half the school supplies now. She gets on the phone and negotiates a payment plan with the utility company. This isn't poor decision-making. This is a masterclass in crisis management. And, this kind of precision, it isn't new. During the Great Depression, an entire generation developed these meticulous strategies just to survive. Then, in 1976, Muhammad Yunus founded the Grameen Bank on a really simple idea: trust that poor people know how to manage their money. And this is just such a stark contrast to 2008, when some of the most sophisticated financial minds on the planet brought the entire global system to its knees. Let's just look at the data. The repayment rate for microloans, loans given to some of the world's poorest people, an incredible 97%. Meanwhile, the 2008 crisis saw trillions of dollars in defaults from the most complex financial institutions out there. So, you tell me, who's really making the better decisions here? The answer's a little uncomfortable, but it's crystal clear. So this all leads to a really big, kind of burning question. If people in poverty are such skilled financial managers, then why does this myth of bad choices stick around? Well, it's because we're often confusing a bad outcome with a bad choice. Smash that subscribe button if you want more content that tells the truth about money and breaks down these systems we've been taught not to question. Let's just put the question right out there, because it's probably what you're thinking. If someone like Katie is making these brilliant, precise decisions every single day, why isn't she getting ahead? Why isn't she escaping poverty? And the answer, it turns out, is structural. We see someone with a low income buy a lottery ticket and we scoff. But listen, when you're working 60 hours a week and the math still doesn't add up, a lottery ticket is not an investment plan. It's a $2 escape hatch from a reality that is crushing you. It's not an irrational choice. It's often the only available choice in a set of absolutely terrible options. And here's the real key. The margin for error is just gone. When someone with a safety net makes a financial mistake, it's an expensive lesson. Maybe it becomes a good story they tell later. But when someone like Katie makes the exact same mistake, it's a catastrophe. It's eviction, it's job loss, it's a downward spiral that's almost impossible to pull out of. And don't think for a second this is some small niche problem. The Federal Reserve found that nearly 40% of Americans couldn't cover an unexpected $400 emergency. That's 40% of the country living in a system where one small piece of bad luck can derail their entire life. If this is blowing your mind right now, drop a comment below and tell me, what's the most stressful financial decision you've ever had to make? I read every single comment and your story matters. So ultimately it comes down to this. You can make perfect, precise, surgical decisions every single day of your life. But if the fundamental equation is broken, if wages are flat while costs are skyrocketing, you still can't win. It's not a failure of character, it's a failure of the math, and understanding that changes everything. If there's one thought that really sticks with me from all this, it's that poverty doesn't make people stupid. It makes them tired. Planning for a future is a luxury you can't afford when you're spending every single ounce of mental energy just trying to survive the next 24 hours. The daily financial miracles millions of people perform, that's not irresponsibility, that is quiet, unseen heroism. So the next time you see someone who's struggling, just pause. Don't assume they made bad choices. Maybe assume they're making the best possible choices in a situation that you can't even fully imagine. Because precision under pressure, that might just be the purest form of intelligence there is. If this video changed the way you see money and the people around you, please hit that like button. It helps this message reach more people who need to hear it. I'm Findolax, and we're building something different here. A community that doesn't just chase wealth, but understands it, that sees through the myths and gets to the truth. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss a video. We got so much more to uncover together.